So let's talk real quick about switching camera brands or camera systems cinematically. So I've switched camera systems several times before. I started off in photography and I was shooting on Nikon cameras. Loved Nikon. I thought Nikon was the photography king. In my opinion, I think they still are, but that's just my opinion. Then I went from Nikon when I decided to start doing more video work. I went from Nikon and I bought a Panasonic G7 because I needed better video features and I wanted something that had better autofocus. Now, what I didn't know was that the Panasonic autofocus in the G7 wasn't that great either, but it was better than the Nikon. What camera was I using? The Nikon D600 that I had. I called him Ace. That was my guy. Ace. Me and Ace did a lot. I shot a lot of video on that camera, but I had a friend of mine wanted me to do a music video for him, and I wanted something better. So I got the Panasonic G7, and I can remember I got the camera and I had it for maybe a week and went out and shot this music video. I don't recommend that at all. Listen, when you are switching camera systems, you need to give yourself time to learn that system. Just knowing how to change the exposure settings isn't enough. You need to know how to be able to dive into the menu on the fly and change other things. One thing that I knew that I was having an issue with was autofocus. I couldn't figure out why the camera just wasn't focusing that well and why it was losing focus. I didn't realize that those particular Panasonic cameras and that G series had contrast-based autofocus, which just is not great. So it's something that if I had known, I could have kind of planned my shoot a little bit better as far as what the talent was wearing, where we shot at, and all that, to give the camera a better chance to focus. But I didn't do that. Also, there were some situations where I thought that I knew how to change the settings on the camera, and I didn't. I was fumbling around on set, man, trying to do it, and it makes the whole experience very frustrating and just not enjoyable whatsoever. So you've got to make sure that you know your camera system, and you've got to give yourself time to figure this stuff out. After Panasonic, I left the G7, went to the GH4 because it was a little bit better. GH4 classic, After the GH4, I went to a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. Now, let me tell you something. When it comes to the Blackmagic system, it is seamless from any camera system that you may come from. I don't care what you're used to shooting on. Getting into the Blackmagic system is absolutely flawless. Their menu system is I don't understand why other camera brands aren't trying to, go the same route that Blackmagic did with their menu system. I mean, a beginner, if you were to give a person who's never used that camera and tell them, all right, go into the menu and find, how to shoot in Blackmagic Raw, or how to shoot or set the camera up to shoot in ProRes. Change the frame rate of the camera. They could go into that menu system and easily figure this stuff out. The camera system listen, if you've used the Blackmagic camera, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. It is just absolutely the best thing in the world. I don't know why these other camera brands aren't kind of adapting that. it would be great. You know, Canon's menu system isn't bad. Their cinema camera menu system is, it can be a little overwhelming, kind of like, you know, the Sony menu system, but you know, Blackmagic just has it on point, man. And then finally from Blackmagic, I bought my first Canon. It was the R7, was the first Canon that I had, and loved the camera. Loved it, man. Canon system is not difficult to learn. Coming from other systems, yeah, it was a good experience. But again, I got that camera, and before I gave myself time to really learn it, I jumped right into a shoot. And this is all user stuff. It wasn't the camera's problem. It wasn't Canon's problem. It was my problem for not taking the time to fully understand the system and be able to work in it. Like, you're gonna have to do that. Like, you really are. I know a lot of people, one main reason why a lot of people don't switch is because of that reason. And that's one of the reasons why I was so hesitant to buy this Sony FX30, which I'm shooting on now, by the way, with that lovely Viltrox 20mm f2.8 lens. I'll talk about that some other time. But a lot of people don't want to switch, man, because you don't want to have to learn a new system. And for me, that was one of the main reasons. Like, I just didn't want to learn a new system. Even after some tragedy happened and I had got rid of my cameras, when I got myself together and knew I was gonna buy another camera, I had looked at the FX30 and I had looked at the FX3. The only reason why I didn't pull the trigger on either one is because I just didn't want to learn a new system. Like, that was really, I picked the R5C strictly for that reason, honestly. I mean, again, the R5C is not a bad camera. I don't think I made a bad choice, but the FX30 fits my needs more than the R5C did, but I just didn't want to learn a new system. I didn't. Call me crazy, I just didn't. So that's how I ended up with it. But now I'm here with this FX30, and it's crazy because when I got the camera a couple days ago, I didn't have any shoot scheduled, and I was like, okay, you know, nobody had been calling, so I'm like, all right, I can get a new camera and take some time and really learn this system, which is why I'm shooting videos like this, and I'm trying out different things and different picture profiles. Like, the picture profile that I'm using now is one of the PP something or other. I'll put it on the screen. That's, you know, all that stuff I've got to get used to with this camera. But it's crazy. As soon as I get the camera, now people start calling, wanting to do shoots and stuff. But I'm scheduling stuff far enough out to where it's going to give me some time to use this camera, really get to know it, dive into the menus, learn it. I'm still trying to get together with the menu system. I do have some functions set, so I know where some things are. But even with doing that, I like to know the menu system. I like to know where things are at in the menu. It's just me. Even when I have certain buttons assigned, even when I was with Canon, for some reason I didn't use the buttons. I would still dive into the menu and do this stuff. I don't know what that is. It's just a me thing. That's all. But I'm trying to give myself some time to learn this and to really understand the camera before I go out on professional shoots and start using it. Because I don't want to get to a shoot and realize there's something that I don't know how to do. Now I've got to fumble in the menu trying to figure it out, pull up my phone, try to get on Google and see what's happening and all that. And I just don't want to do that. So I'm giving myself some time. So remember, when you're switching systems, give yourself some time. Even if You know what? I'll tell you that even if you're not switching necessarily a whole system, if you're just switching cameras, give yourself some time. Like if I switch from the FX30 to the FX3, I know those cameras are pretty much identical, but they do some different things. And I would give myself some time to learn the FX3 the same way I'm giving myself some time to learn the FX30. So it is what it is. Make sure you give yourself enough time, some leeway. You don't want to show up on set looking crazy. All right. So I appreciate you guys watching, man. This is going to be a bunch of videos coming out about this camera, and it's really going to be about me learning to use it and trying to work out some of the quirks that I may run into, all right? But do me a favor, man. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button for me, okay? You guys be easy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.